Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is the part 2 of interview question series for PySpark. So let's get started. So the question goes something like this. In the realm of data pre-processing with PySpark, it's crucial to efficiently handle CSV files, especially when it comes to skipping initial rows that might not contain relevant data. So write the code on how to effectively skip the first two rows from a CSV file when reading it into a PySpark data frame. Hope you understood the question. So you have been given a CSV file. So in the question, like I was given in a scenario like this, there was no real CSV file that I had to pre-process. So the interviewer wanted to see how I write the code. So for this video purpose, I have already created a CSV file with some sample 100 records, and I wanted to write or show you the code through which how you can skip the initial first two rows from a CSV file. So this was the question. And if you don't know how to load the CSV file in a Databricks, you can go to File, and here you can see Upload Data to DBFS. Just click on it, and you can click to browse the file, or you can just drag and drop the file here. Just download a file from or create a CSV file with some few records, sample records. So and this path, when you load the data, you will get this path after loading the data into DBFS. So let's start how you can skip the two rows. So everything is, you can handle this one directly while reading the CSV file. So how the output of the CSV file looks like, then I'll show you how you can read it. Okay, so part read .csv, and then just pass the path here. Okay, and let's see how the data looks like. Okay, I have not called the show. I just show the data. Okay, so this is the data, and if you see, the data has header. If you see, the data has header, and it has these records in here. So first, let's just skip first two rows and see how it skips the first two rows. So we'll not consider if the header is there or not. We'll just skip the first two rows. So if I directly pass here option, and I'll say that header is not present, means header is false. Okay, and I'll say do not infer the schema as well. Info schema also I'll say as false. Okay, and to skip the rows, okay, what I'll do, so let's just drop this here. Dot options, and we have a parameter called skip rows, and how many of you want to skip the rows. So I'll just say 2. Okay, and let's see how now my data will look like. So okay, sorry, forgot here. So now see how the data looks like if I see. So I mentioned here that header is not present, but in my actual CSV file header is present. But to see how this works. So this option for header false. This means in my skip rows, header is also skipped. So 1 and 2 are skipped, means header and the first row is skipped, but from starting 2, 3 all are present. So now let's see what happens if I do true here. Okay, does true, if I make that header is true, does my first two records skip? No. What is happening? My header is skipped, my second row is skipped, and my third row, sorry, my header is skipped, my first row is skipped. So first two means header and first row is skipped. So second row from the data set has been made as header. So if I solve this way, when my CSV file has a header, then the approach is wrong. So if your interviewer, in my interview case, it was not mentioned, so I have used this, but in the interview, if it is said that your CSV file has a header, then this option will not work. Like, you cannot skip like this. So how you will approach that? This is a good approach when your data set doesn't have a header. If it doesn't have a header, then it will automatically skip the first two rows. That's fine. So now let's see how you can approach this question when you have a header in your CSV file. So in my part 2 of this question, I have now what I want like my first two rows only to be skipped, not my header should be skipped. My header should be there as it is currently. So how you can approach it? If you already know, then please drop down a comment, and if you don't know, then let me tell you can approach this question by using window functions. So in my last video, the question was related to a window function, and you can use that here. So you can make a column, row number, which will have row number based on your ID column, whichever it is. In my case, it is the first column, which is a unique row. Then wherever the row number is 1 and 2, means greater than 2 basically, take those records, and others will be skipped automatically. So in that way you can solve the question. So let's just see how to write the code basically. Let's see. So we'll first do same like we did here. Okay, we'll read it. We'll read it. We'll say our header is true. In first schema, we'll say true. And we don't want this option here. Okay. And let's see now how our data looks like. df.show. See, now this is my index column, and other columns are there, and nothing is skipped. Everything is there. We'll now create the window specification, like the row number. Okay, window specification will create. So I have already imported window here. So let's create it. Let's first create the specification, and window spec window dot. Now we don't want anything like partition by any column, because I already have a column here. I'll just order by the index column. In my data set, I don't need to do this as well. I can directly use my index column to filter out the first two rows. But for you guys, if you're the data set, if your data doesn't have a column like this, the index, then you can create a row number. Okay, for the purpose of like a bigger point of view, like usually the data set doesn't have an index column. That's why I'm creating this row number. But if in your real world, or if in your interview, index column in your data set is given, then you can directly use that column. Only just check if it is unique and it is ordered by or not. Let's sort it. Otherwise, these two things are needed. So I'll just do order by author index, and we'll use this specification to filter out the first two rows. So let's create the final data frame here. We'll create a column with, so Rn is the column name, and we'll use here row number function. And so this is the syntax. Over, you pass the window specification that you have created, and this is the column that is created for row number. Then what we can do, we can directly do a filter here of this row number column that you have created, Rn, and this should be greater than 2. So in case the question has a value something else, like the first 5 rows to be skipped and so on, so accordingly you can choose this value. I have passed here 2 because I have to skip only first 2 rows, and I don't want in my final data frame the column Rn, so I'll be dropping this Rn column. Okay, and let's just show final df. Okay, let's run this and see how our output is. Okay, so now you see, now you have the header here, and the index is starting from 3. So that means the first 2 rows, index 1 and index 2, are skipped. So this is how you can approach the question. So there are 2 things. If this question pops up in your interview, first ask your interviewer how the CSV file would be, like if it has header, and which approach you want me to write, like while reading only you want to skip the record, or you want me to use window specification. So interact with the interviewer, take proper inputs, and then solve this accordingly. I hope you have now better understanding of how to handle a CSV file and its records. There are other things that you can also read about, like how to handle bad records in a CSV file, and you can also see what all other parameters that you can pass for a CSV file while reading a CSV file, like what all options you can pass. So these you can read about. Sometimes these questions also comes in an exam, in an interview. Thank you guys, and if you like the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.